All right, so let's look at some of the more basic, some of the day-to-day things that you might do with the bundle. So for instance, if we wanted to create a new class, I'm just going to go ahead and do new file. And we have these templates under force.com, Apex, Visual Force component, Apex trigger, select Apex class. And if I create sample class create, it'll go ahead and create a quick Apex class here, filling in based on the file name. And now I don't have to actually create a meta file with this. The bundle will do that for me if I try to build and it finds that that file isn't there. So I'm just going to do a quick list here. All right, and save, and then I can go ahead and build, and we'll build out that meta information for me and build out the class and then upload that up to my org. Okay, so that took about 15 seconds and the class has now been added. And if I wanted to also do a few things like look at more information about this contact object now, if I go over to my build properties, I want to point out that I've added this pod variable. This is that first portion of the domain that you see when you're logged into your org. Mine is NA8. And what this is going to let us do is access, I've got a little bit of PHP, which actually allows us to create a session for the REST API. And if I go over to bundles, force.com, REST operations, you can see the get object here. That's going to go, it's going to access the REST API. It's going to give me these two tables. This one on top gives me all of the fields on the contact object and their type and their label. So I can see I've got a few custom fields down here. Then if I keep scrolling down here, these are the child relationships associated with contact. So if I wanted to add, say, email, I know that the API name is this. I can just copy that and then paste that in to my SOQL. Now, since we already have access to the REST API, if I also wanted to look at this SOQL statement, now most of these also have keybinds, so I can just do a quick search based on whatever SOQL that I have highlighted here, and I'll see the results. Now this is an HTML table that we're generating. The HTML is actually within the bundle. It's using this jQuery plugin called SlickGrid, and anybody familiar with playing around with SlickGrid may notice I'm actually still using just the example CSS here. So I'm going to probably restyle the look and feel of the UI in a later update. So let's look at creating a new page. I can click on the pages directory, new file, and Visual Force page. And so if I put in sample page here, create, you can see that we get very simple starting template for Visual Force, and I can go ahead and build that to my org. Okay, and once again, that took about 15 seconds. Seems to be the round trip for my setup here to build out these single classes or pages. So if I wanted to now look at this within the browser, another thing that I have here are these bookmarks. So for instance, I can go to Visual Force page, and we'll go to the page based on the current file that I have uploaded. Now, I've already logged in here. Normally you'd actually have to log in through the actual TextMate browser here. But once you've done that, the TextMate browser will go ahead and remember your login. So if I wanted to say show header, I wanted to actually make that false, save and build. Once again, about 14 seconds there for the build, but then I can just go ahead and preview, and we can see that my headers have changed. So it's a little bit convenient. A lot of times you might also be logged in Chrome or something like that, but if you wanted just to be able to quickly access aspects of your org, you can do that just within TextMate. So there's a few others. Go back to force.com. For instance, if you wanted to create a new custom object, completely, this will go ahead and actually just take you to the custom object wizard within the org now, which is, I think, actually a little bit more useful than trying to deal with a lot of different XML and things like that. Or if you wanted to execute some Apex, you can go to the excellent Apex CSI log that we have. And you can just go ahead and use that normally right here within TextMate. Or if you prefer the older one, you can switch back to the different system logs.